This video covers initial setup and configuration of AppComputing BudgetEngine. To get started, you will need to establish a new user account. A new user account can be obtained by clicking one of the Signup buttons located on the pricing screen. Don't worry about selecting a specific plan yet. Any of the buttons will take you to the new customer sign-up screen, where you will first start with a full-featured 30-day trial account. Fill in all the fields on the new customer sign-up screen, then click the Sign Up button. Your email address will be your login ID. If you represent multiple end-user organizations, it is okay to use the same email address for different companies. Then, when you use BudgetEngine, an additional menu will become available, allowing you to quickly change between companies without requiring you to log out from the system and then log back in each time. When you create a new account, a welcome email will be sent to your email address with a confirmation link. Click the link to activate the account. It will take a few moments to initialize your new account. Please do not close your web browser or leave the web page while this is happening. You will then see the password setup screen to select your own password for the new account. Use best practices and select a unique, secure password. Read the terms and conditions and click the checkbox. Then click the Save Changes button at the bottom of the screen. The next screen will ask you to select 3 security questions and provide personal answers for each one. The security questions are part of the login process, and you'll be randomly asked to answer one of them each time you log into the system. Now that your new account has been established, you will be guided through 5 simple steps to configure data for your organization. In Step 1, enter information about the entity. All fields are mandatory and require data to be filled in or selected. However, you can come back at any time later to make changes. Click the Save Changes button to move to the next step. In Step 2, define departments of the company. Departments are cost centers for the financials. Create enough departments to get started. You can always add, edit, or delete any departments later. Click the Save Changes button to move to the next step. In Step 3, set the fiscal period for the company. This step is different from the other steps because once the first year is defined, it cannot be changed after being committed in Step 5. Subsequent years can be added, but the first year cannot be changed. It is recommended to select a first year that permits comparison to 1 or more historical years. Click the Save Changes button to move to the next step. If necessary, you can come back to this step to adjust the fiscal period before you commit the setup in Step 5. However, after the setup is committed, the fiscal period will no longer be changeable. In Step 4, define the chart of accounts. By default, you'll see a recommended chart of accounts to help you get started. Feel free to make changes to fit your business model. You can always edit the chart of accounts later after you have begun using the system. Budgeting chart of accounts are usually constructed at a high-level summary, while accounting chart of accounts often contain more detail. It is strongly recommended not to use accounting chart of accounts for budgeting purposes. For example, if creating a travel budget, you would want to model the number of people traveling and the budget for each trip. But for accounting, it requires much more detailed tracking for airfare, ground transportation, hotel, meals, etc. When you import accounting actuals into BudgetEngine, you have an option to map one-to-many accounts. This gives you a flexible budgeting process while allowing accounting to keep detailed tracking records. One more important thing to know about BudgetEngine is that it is constructed for 2-dimensional chart of accounts. Thus, a single chart of accounts entry can be set up in the system but shared across multiple departments. If your organization's accounting chart of accounts is flat or single-dimensional, it can still be easily mapped into the BudgetEngine system. Details about this are provided in a later video. After you have set up the chart of accounts, click the Save Changes button to move to the next step. This brings you to the final Step 5. Before clicking the button to commit all setup data, you may want to review everything you entered in Steps 1 through 4 and make any necessary adjustments. After you are satisfied the data is accurate, click the Commit Setup Data button to complete the configuration of your BudgetEngine account. While the system is in the process of completing the configuration, do not close your web browser, click the back button, or refresh the web page. This concludes the initial setup for AppComputing BudgetEngine.